Hello everyone, Lawrence Fleming here again. It's turned into a pretty nice day right now. But we have rain coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get one video ahead just in case. You never know. See, if you want a job, get a job as a weatherman. You only have to be 1% right. And if you're not sure, just say 50% chance of whatever. And just be careful on using the S word. Some places like here in Georgia, if you use the S word, it's panic time. Now, I use the Satan word sometimes, and that starts with an S. But nobody panics. If you say snow, and everybody panics. There's a run on the market. Everybody goes for milk and bread, essentials, I guess, to survive. But Satan's coming, and that ought to stir up more commotion than anything else. I think it's timing-wise goes as far as everything that I'm looking at. They're pretty much set up. Now, they don't need digital currency working for Satan to come back or for the Antichrist to come back immediately. They can be up and running for a little while. So I think at this point in time, the only thing that's holding us back is whether or not Satan's ready. Ready for the Revelation 12 attack. So when you look out there and you see the people, it's like, well, they're not sure they want to go ahead with this. It's got nothing to do with the people. Everything's got to do with Satan and his onslaught. So keep preparing yourself. Keep getting ready. He is coming. There is no doubt of all the things that are in Revelation happening. The only question or confusion is, when does it start? Because once it starts, it's not going to stop. Once it starts, there's no way to back up. So that's why we have to be ready. We don't have time once it starts to go get ready. You don't have time to get ready. You need to have enough food stores to ride out whatever this time is, because eventually it will get to where you can't afford to live. It's not there yet, but everything is basically double what it was a couple of years ago. The only thing that's still down is gas, and I don't know why. I thought right after the election, well, technically the election's not over until all the votes are figured out. So they may be waiting for that. They're in no hurry. What they have planned is already planned. And like I said before, they were either going to win the election and then not worry about timing, or in this case, lose the election and then start worrying about timing for things, because since they have lost the House, now things that happen that are bad, they're going to get with the media, and everything bad that happens is going to be blamed on the Republicans, even though they couldn't possibly have done any of the things which are going to happen. But that's the lying side of Satan. And the people are going to believe it, because the people would rather have the lies of Satan than the truth of God. That's the sad part. Keep in the Word. Keep keeping yourself pure. We're told to ask for forgiveness daily. Don't let a day go by that you don't do that. Don't let a day go by that you don't talk to God. Because when this stuff starts, it is not going to stop. I'm doing a real short hike because I'm doing laundry. And I'll have to get back and swap it out over to the dryer. I don't think there's anybody here going to be doing laundry, but I don't want to hold anybody up in case there is. I never did find my soap that I was looking for. I had to go to the visitor center and buy another small bottle. I put it somewhere. I didn't follow my pattern. I normally am so habitual that I know exactly where to find something. And I changed the pattern, and now I don't know where I put it. That's the way you need to be with God, so habitual that you know you're right with Him. Getting up in the morning and asking for forgiveness, for praying, to talking to God, and going to bed doing the same thing, those are habits that you need to make sure you establish so that you can quickly realize that you've missed a habit and make it better by doing it at that moment that you realize it. We don't know the time. It could happen right now. It could happen an hour from now. It could happen a day or a week or a month from now. No one's going to be able to give you a time. I can't give you a time. Paul, I'm sure, was disappointed that he couldn't pick the time. But it doesn't matter. He's already got his crown. And everyone that's gone afterwards that were Christians, they're ahead of us. The ones that aren't there yet are the ones that aren't Christians that have gone before us. Well, I'm back to camp. I might sit down for a bit. I still got, my alarm hasn't gone off. I've still got time. My hosts are different from the ones that were here before. The ones that were here before raked all the sites. This one doesn't do that. I appropriated some firewood. Let's see if I can see. The sun's so bright I can't see. There's some of it in my fire ring. It's kind of close to the tent. I wasn't planning on building a fire. I might take it with me. I see two camps in here with me today. Let me see if I can open this up. Okay. It's moving. Okay, stop. Yeah, I know, I need a new one. That is one thing that I have noticed, is that the stores are not stocked up on things that they normally are stocked up on. I had to go to 3 sites to get another cot. The one I got it's okay, but it's a little narrow. Not quite as comfortable as the one I've got now, so I'm in better shape. It's adequate and it'll work, and I'm going to let my son use it. I just heard from him. He's still there in Peru working. Be sure to check out his site on my comments. I've got my Telegraph site, I've got the YouTube link, and I've got his site. And I got a Patreon site. Is that what I have down there? I don't know. I have to look. In any case, I'm doing pretty good, but I mean, I could use a little bit more, as I've had to replace some equipment that was getting old. You know, I had to get my tin a while back. That was fine. I've got to get a tarp rigged up. We don't have any rain coming in, so that's okay. But I have a large tarp, which you want to do if you can when you're camping, if you show up and it's raining. And I've been very fortunate. God has taken care of me. But if it's raining, you sit and wait for it to stop to be able to put your gear up. Unless the first thing you do is you put a tarp up big enough to cover your site. My old tent had a tarp that covered just the old tent, and it was half the size of this one, so the tarp's half the size. It worked good to block the sun, and it worked good to stop the rain over the door, but that was it. So I have a new tarp that's big enough to cover the whole site. So if I get there and it's raining, I put my rain gear on, I hang the tarp, get it tied off, and then I move everything out of the tarp, and I build the tent under the tarp. Because my tent, being a modern tent, is better than the older ones. It's got openings, so the whole top is mesh. So you're not going to die of carbon monoxide in there unless you're really pumping it out. But because of that, if it's raining, the entire inside of my tent will be wet. It's mesh, so critters can't crawl in, but water can. Anyhow, wonder how my timer's doing. There's somebody walking next to me, next over there on the trail. We had a lot of people out this last weekend, and it was in the 20s. It's a very cold weekend to be out. I got somebody with her dog next to me here, and I got another group up on the RV side. But that's it. Over on the other, I'm in campsite 2 and campsite 1, there's like a half a dozen RVs. Okay, I think my laundry's about done. I'm going to head for that. I hear voices, but I don't see them. So, life goes on. That's why I'm doing laundry. If I knew the rapture was in 2 days, I'd have held off. So we don't. We just got to go about our business. You say hi to everybody you can. You wish them a blessed day. You use every opportunity to talk about Jesus whenever you can. And in these times, I know the people don't want to hear it, but I tell people we're in the end times and we're about to get raptured. I know that most people are not going to accept that until we are. And then they're going to know about it. And then they're going to go searching around for a Christian who, after the rapture, may be a little hesitant about talking to anybody, but they may go back to somebody that they know that was sitting on the fence and get more information. That's what you got to do. Just keep planting the seeds. And eventually, there'll be a little sprout come up, and then somebody can deal with it if we're not here. I'm going to get out of the sun. I have 6 minutes left. See, I've got full laundry, so if you come out to these places and stay for a while, you don't have to bring 6 months worth of clothes. There we go. You only need a week's worth. Then you do your laundry. And I'm 30 seconds from my campsite. Take this off. And I set a timer on my phone. No excuses. There's no excuses not to get out and camp, and there's no excuses to not want to talk to people. I don't care what your situation is. You can tell somebody about Jesus. You need to start working on that. If you're homebound and can't get out, let your church know that you're homebound and would like someone to visit. And they'll come by and they'll talk about Jesus. You're a captive audience. They would love to do that. If you're homebound and you don't have family, you want anybody to come by. Order a package and have it delivered so you can go pick it up at the door. If you can. There's always a way. I can't give you every possible way, but Jesus can. Tell him your problem, your concern, your need. He already knows all about it. He's probably got somebody waiting out there outside for you to just ask. He just wants to hear from us. He dangles cookies around so that every time he hears from us, we get a cookie. Pavlov. Now, it's not quite that simple, but in general, that's the way it works. God wants to hear from us. Jesus is our avenue, our way through the Spirit. We can talk directly to God because we're forgiven. And the Spirit allows us to do that. So if you're lonely, tell God about it. Because He wants to hear from you right now. Don't wait. When this video is over, talk to God. It will make Him very happy. You know how the father of the prodigal son was? That's a good story of God and us when we come back. He knew where he was at the whole time, most of the time, in the big city, spending all of his money. I've talked about before that I've known a lot of wealthy people through my dad. I got to see that having wealth doesn't eliminate problems. So being poor has its own set of problems, but being wealthy has its own set as well. Put my glasses on and see if this is telling me I can stop the timer. Yeah. So that way I don't have to have it go beep. Start thinking about what all you can do for God. Start planning your Christmas presents to Him. Talking to Him, doing something for Him, doing something for His people with Him, not on your own, with Him, will be something that He would love. Now, going down and feeding the hungry, well, that's great. Don't do it on your own. Go with God. If you do it on your own, you're trying to get to heaven through works. It won't work. But do it with God, and He'll help you. You may meet someone, you may learn something, you may get a warm feeling inside for helping others that you can lose if you don't go with God. Telling me in the skies. I'm just going to tack this little short walk on the back of this where I can talk to you a little bit more. As I look around and I see all these tall trees, they were created by God, but they cannot turn to God and have favor in Him like man can. The same thing for the birds, or the animals. When God was tired of what He had created, and He decided to destroy man on the earth, there was only one man that He found favor in, and that was Noah. God found favor in him and saved mankind, us, through Noah. So have you found favor with God? Well, we have, as Christians, we have the Spirit. So we have that connection that they didn't have back then. And there should be no reason why we aren't finding favor with God. But we can block the Spirit, so it can't work in us. We can't lose our salvation, but we can stop our effectiveness. He created everything here to the minute detail. He created the cycles. So that as trees die, they go back into the earth. Leaves go back into the earth. He created our cycle, that we're here for just a short time. And hopefully during that time, we can find our way to Him and find favor in His eyes. It's up to you. Are you looking at life from your point of view? Or are you looking at life from God's potential for you, His point of view? You better be looking at it from His point of view, because He knows exactly what you want. Now, you may want something different, only because you don't know. You don't know what God has planned for you. If you did know, you'd accept it. Look at that old tree over there. That's been here growing on earth for a long time. Now, a lot of what I'm looking at here at these trees and the trail and everything finds favor in my eyes, because I enjoy being out in nature, being in something that God created. Whereas if I go into town and I look at the people there, they don't find favor in my eyes, most of them. And that's sad. And it's got to be even sadder for God who created them all individually. You and me, we're all unique. And all God wants to do is to commune with us. It's like the well-known phrase, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me." That's all God wants, to commune with us. Surely we can give that to him. It is so strange to see all these bare trees. Just a few months ago, they were full of life and full of leaves. Then you couldn't see what was inside of them. They were concealing potentially animals like deer, other things going on that we couldn't see, but now we can. There is a time that right now we can't see God, but soon we'll see him face to face. You should be excited for these times. If you're struggling, do your best to stay joyful and full of life. All right, blessings.